Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of Unsigned Monday. This is going to be episode 39 and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this week. I'm going to be spreading out this tutorial throughout the week because it's going to be a long one. We're going to be talking about progressive house basses, so we're going to get into a few of the programmable ones. And the first one we're going to be creating in this one is going to be a dirty type that you would hear in any Dutch DJ's productions that have that melodic progressive house sound, like Dannic, Dyro, Hardwell sort of stuff. And this is the sound we're going to be creating. So octave higher. So that's what we're going to be creating. Let me change the filter a bit so you can see what else you can do with it. Octave higher. Here. So it's a clear warning, I am kind of sick, so I might cough now and then, so just be aware of it. So today we're going to be doing something different. Like I said, we're going to first learn to create this one, then maybe in a few days I'm going to put up another one for stabs and another one for sub and so forth. So today we're just going to be learning how to create this one. All these tutorials I'm going to try and focus them now on Spire. I feel like people need to learn Spire, what Spire is, and Spire is a really great synthesizer. A lot of my followers on Facebook actually recommended it as well. They were like, they want to see more of Spire. So we're going to be doing more of Spire, and hopefully you guys can, tag along, buy it or get it for free. I mean, I'm not promoting pirating, but obviously it's going to happen. But, like, try and support the company. Spire is a really great synthesizer, and hopefully you guys can learn it with me. So, okay, let's start creating this bass then. So, first off, I'm going to be explaining every little thing I did and everything you need to know to create it. So I am going to be getting into Spire technicality. So if you're into if you don't know Spire, then this is a perfect video for you, and so forth. Before we get started though, I would like to say that I did start a PayPal donation account if you guys want to contribute to the channel. I am currently saving up for a new microphone and a new interface, just because if you've noticed some of my previous videos, there have been comments of people saying that my voice tends to pan left and right, blah blah blah. The reason for that is because I automate the panning, so whenever the synth plays, the synth is in stereo, and for some weird reason my voice is panned to the left to hell. So I am going to be setting up for a new microphone and a new interface, and hopefully we can get that in as soon as possible. But for now I'm going to be working with what I got, and hopefully it isn't as annoying as it sounds like with my voice panning it left and right. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing we need to know is, okay, here we have Spire, we have the oscillation section. So here we're going to be having 4 oscillators. Each one is going to, just like Silent 1, you can control what wave you want and so forth. The difference here is that it is wavetable synthesis. What that means is that you can create certain waves and you can get more creative with it than you can in Silent 1. And it's going to give you a neat effect. It's similar to Massive, except Spire has a lot more of a trancey kind of sound, and Massive's dubstep kind of experimental feel. So this is a perfect synth for anyone who's into big room house and all that stuff. The only hard thing is actually getting deep into the wavetable synthesis in order to get those sounds out. So today we're going to be doing a simple sound. What we're going to be doing is, for oscillator 1, we're just going to leave it the way it is, and then we're going to go into the second box. Second box controls your detunement and the density of the detunement. We're not going to be messing with that. We have unisono. We're going to put 3 voices, just 3 saw waves coming out of this oscillator. We're going to leave 1 octave in unison. Usually I don't mess with these. I just leave it at 1 octave. There's no point in having these. Never get good results. Wide, we're going to leave it in the center. Wideness is just going to decide how wide your sound is, whether you hear it more towards the outer or towards more in the mono area. And this is a bass, and you kind of want it a little bit more mono. So once we have this, just make sure filter input's all the way to the left, and we should be done with this part. Now when you switch your oscillator, you're going to see that everything changes in these first 3. So you can see it changes. So pretty much in every oscillator, you're going to have these things to work with individually in each oscillator, and that's going to be like your wavetable, your detunement, your unison, and your mix, where how wide it is, and invert it, whether it has a key. So usually what key is doing is, if I take key off and I play a note, then it's just going to stay in that same note. And usually I take the key off for effects type sounds, like white noise or stuff like that. Okay, so once you have that, we go to oscillator 2, and you're going to click here. And this controls the oscillator's volume. So we're going to put oscillator 1 like around 3 o'clock, a little bit after 3. So just put it at 3 and then move it a little bit more. And then Oscillator 2, we're going to be creating a square. So the way we're going to do this is Control A if you have a saw and you have not moved anything. Control A is going to control how much of a square you have. So we're going to turn that all the way. And then here you can create, Control B is going to decide, you know, whether you have an H pulse or Q pulse, just like in Silent 1. But here you have a little bit more freedom to kind of shape it to how you want it. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it all the way to the right to create an H pulse, I believe. That's what it's called. I really don't know my wave names. Let's see. A Q pulse, my bad. So this is a Q pulse, so we're just doing that. And as you can see, here we have a Q. Looks the same here. And we were to put a square, then we have a square and so forth. Okay, so once we have this, we go into detunement. We're just going to put one voice, so really you don't need to touch these. Detunement's not going to happen unless you have more than one voice. You can always put them down if you wish. No whiteness again, and just leave it by default like that. So once we have this area, we're going to the filter section of Spire, where we're going to be putting a Scorpio black LP 4-pole low pass. We're going to put the cutoff at 2 o'clock, no resonance, and key track all the way down. By default, it should be straight up, just put it down. And once we have that, we should be done. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit about the filters, and that the new Scorpio filters that Spire just came out with are hella nice, and I kind of give them a thumbs up for them. Honestly, I haven't even used the Perfecto filters anymore ever since the Scorpios came out. They just have pretty much a fatter filter, and it just sounds so much cleaner that I kind of enjoy using them a lot more in my sounds. Next, we're going to go into the effects section where we're going to put the mode in FB Try, and SHP is going to be your distortion module, and here is where you're going to be able to distort it, and you have various different types of distortions, as you can see: soft, warm, hard, clip, tube, 2-1, 2-2, tube 3, FB Try, FB Sign, FOT plus DCM, and DCM type distortions. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the drive and wet all the way up. We're going to put the drive at 570, the high cut at 199. Usually it's like this, you want it at 199. And this is where you can kind of change the sound. The key to the sound that I made is in this distortion module, as you can see. Let me lower an octave. Oops, I'm using silent. So, okay, here we go. So, you can hear it. So you can see the key is here, so you can kind of change the sound however you want it to with the high cut. I have it at 199. But if you want, you can always have it up here. However you prefer. It's really dirty. It's making me cough. So that's all we have. We're going to put the low cut all the way down. High cut is going to be at 199 or 194, whichever you prefer. No phase, no chorus, no delay, and no reverb. So that's what these things mean here. Obviously there's like six types of chorus, I believe, and then the phase, you have a shit ton of them, and the vocal low, mid, and high are what I've been using to create those Melbourne type sounds, thanks to the phase in Spire. Okay, so we're gonna approach the final part of our sound. Amp envelope 1, so envelope 1 here is going to be routed to the amp manually, so our sustain is all the way up on that, and our release is at 172, so we're going to put at 172 right there. So we're going to be having a little bit of a release. I've talked about what ADSR is before, so I'm not really going to get into it. Same concept applies in Spire, Silent, and Massive. ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, and release. Pretty much the 4 phases that, you know, an envelope goes through, or you know, an amp when the sound comes out. So once we have that, then pretty much all we have left to do is we're going to go into this section. We're going to add an X comp a little bit, just move it to around 70 or 90 is fine, between 90 and 70. Velocity 12, volumes, make sure it's set at 12. Next, we're going to go into the EQ section, which is right here. You're going to go to the low shelf here, and you're going to put it all the way down, and you're going to lower the volume all the way down, frequency down, volume level all the way down, and then the quadrant is going to be at 540. Next, we're going to go into our high shelf, which is all the way to the right here. And all we're going to do is turn the frequency all the way to the right, lower the volume all the way down, and we're going to pretty much put the quadrant down to 360 while you sit here. Okay, so pretty much what I did, I just did a high cut and a low cut just to kind of get rid of those sounds we can't really hear that will eventually muddy up your mix, and we just did it in Spire. What I like to do with my sounds and presets is I like to have them be ready straight out of the box, to the point where you don't need to EQ them unless they're kind of interfering with another sound. And you know, and pretty much that's it, guys. So last final thing we're gonna do is we are gonna go here, we're gonna put mono 1. There are 4 types of monos, and each one is just gonna sound a little bit different, and it's going to correlate with your glide. Our glide is going to be set to around 10 o'clock or 364. Log on. So if you have mono 3, I believe the legato is always activated, but in order to activate legato in mono 4 and mono 1, I think, you have to hold down a note while you press the other note. So see to activate it. So pretty much that's how mono 1's going to work, and all the modes have a certain thing. And then here we have our voices section, and which is, yeah. So hopefully this tutorial was helpful. I am going to be making more Spire tutorials. Hopefully my next sound design episodes are going to revolve around Spire a lot. We are going to be learning how to create a super sound, Spire, and all those things we learned in Silent 1 and Massive as well. But I'm thinking I'm going to be sticking with Massive and Silent 1 to recreate those famous sounds, because I know them from the back of my head, and Spire is still kind of new to me. But I will tell you one thing, that Spire is a great synthesizer if you're looking to kind of get that unique sound of yours. Anyways, guys, this has been Sound World. Please make sure to donate if you can. This preset will be available up on my page for download like always, and I'll see you guys next week. Or actually in 2 days, so I'll see you guys then.